Is Skylar throwing the ball so well right now that even if you do have a favorable matchup on the ground, you say let's keep on throwing it?
To a certain extent, because we've talked about as a program, the more explosive plays you can get, the better opportunity you have. That being said, I still think we got to have good balance, but he is throwing extremely well. Obviously, he's been 2 and 3 games now, getting more and more accurate, getting more and more comfortable, especially with his lower body, and that obviously helps him throw it.
We had a few players mention that Tech maybe was throwing some stunts and just mixing some things up to stop the run. What did you see in that?
They did probably a more of a better job saying we're not going to allow Deuce and Joe Urban and some of those guys just hit some inside zone. So I did feel like they were slanting and angling a little bit more in some run pressures. That happens. Obviously, we got to take advantage of throwing the football, even because not all of Skylar's balls were down the field. A lot of them were even, shorter to intermediate stuff that then people were able to get something more out of. So,
what did you see West Virginia do successfully against this defense?
Well, they did a couple things. They have some extremely explosive receivers that a couple times they just dumped a little hitch screen out there to them, and a guy went and took it down to the 1 yard line. The other thing they did, they got a little bit of quarterback run, had a huge play coming out at like the -7 or so, and ran a power read type play, and the quarterback slid out the back door for about 60. They did a good job of mixing it up. Their quarterback, I thought, played well, but they ran the ball well. They got a good running back, a couple of them really, but number 4, number 24 are both really good running backs. And then they've got a lot of different weapons that we've got to try to do the same thing, meaning use your tight ends, use your wideouts, use your tailbacks, because they used all 3 of them, and then their quarterback used his feet a little bit. It was actually their what I consider their starter that had the big run, but their backup.
You haven't had a turnover-free ball game in a while. What can you do week to week to cut that out?
We keep doing it and talking about the fundamentals over and over again. And like I said before, I'm not going to harp on turnovers as much as every Sunday or Monday when we get together as an offensive unit. We talk about, guys, we have to take care of the ball if we're going to play complementary football. And unfortunately, we haven't yet, and we need to. As we keep going, we want to keep winning football games. We've got to win the explosives, and we've got to win the turnover battle.
Gary Patterson is a renowned defensive coach, and yet they're having some issues this year. What are you seeing out there for them?
I think they've had some big plays hit against them, but when you watch them series in and series out, they still really understand how they fit. They are very, very, very sound from their front to their linebackers to their DBs of where they're supposed to be in both the passing game and in the run game. I think in general they would say we need to limit explosives, and they've had too many explosives against them.
When was the last time you had a game where you hit 10+ receivers like Texas Tech?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that we actually really, really want that to have happen, but it's not something that you push to have happen. What I'm getting at is I want as many guys engaged, as many guys feeling like their skill set's getting used, and I want all of the wideouts to believe Skylar's going to go through his progression and get the ball to who's supposed to get it, not be out there thinking, okay, how do I find Phil, or how do I find Malik, or how do I find whomever. We want him to use the offense and spread the ball around. So it was a great deal.
I know you want to share the ball, obviously, but is Tyron Howe earning more trust from you and his teammates?
Definitely, and it's continued on. We talked a little bit a couple weeks ago about how much he had improvement through the bye week, and it's continued. He obviously had a very, very good catch for about 30. He's been getting more and more plays. Obviously, we threw it more. Just didn't happen to be where he had the 2 or 3 or 4 catches. I think Landry maybe had 3 catches this week, and Phil maybe 5. But we got to keep getting him the ball, because he's got very good skill set as far as hands and ability to make something happen after he catches it.
How early into the last game did you identify that touchdown pass to Deuce as a scheme that was going to work?
Well, we had it called about 3 times. Unfortunately, one of them we checked it. One of them we had an illegal procedure. Then the third one we got it called and it worked. We felt like they would struggle with covering him out that with the fake to him, the linebacker trying to fit, and then you can see number 6 trying to turn and run and find him. So we felt like we could get it called, get it on the correct hash. Also helps because of the bootleg aspect of it and Skylar's ability to step back up. When you run it the other way, it's a lot harder for him to get stepped back up and throw a good ball.
Coach, you guys ran a lot of empty on Saturday. Is that kind of the trusting of the offensive line, or what kind of goes into that?
A little bit twofold. One, yes, I felt like, and we have felt that the knock on wood the last 3 weeks or so, we've done a nice job protecting. The other thing it does is when you take the running back out of the backfield, often it allows the quarterback to better identify where he may be getting pressure. And Skylar's done a good job from a protection standpoint, getting it what we'd call turned the correct way.
That Southern Illinois game, although it was a win, it was tough on the K-State family when Skylar went down. It was tough on the Thompson family when Skylar went down. What can you say about just his determination and being able to come back a second time from injury?
Well, a couple things really come to mind with that. Skylar's done a phenomenal job over 2 different, what people may consider to be, boy, that's a pretty big injury to have happen, or any time where it's like, oh wow, he's out and he's not going to play for whatever amount of time. Having the right mindset, and to his credit, he's never had a day, to outwardly anyway, where you feel like, man, that guy's dauber's down. He's a positive guy that believes things happen for a reason, has has faith, and there's a reason why things are happening, and he's been very good at it. And we've had a number of guys in our program that have had season-ending injuries that their mindset and how they attack things has been very, very good, and I think part of it is because Skylar sets a great example.
Does TCU seem to have issues in replacing Darrell Wallow this year?
I don't know. I think that structurally they are so good at what they do. You got to really dive into a little bit of the minutia to decide what is their problem. I know one thing from our standpoint, their program has got a great defense, and their kids are going to fly around and play fast and play hard, and we've got to be ready for the guys that are there.
Anything else?